Hello, my name is Falastine Abdel-Jabbar, and I will be presenting on dyslexia. Dyslexia is a neurobiological learning disorder that is often hereditary. It is characterized by difficulty reading and interpreting written language and phonics. It can range from mild to severe. Here in the US, more than 3 million new cases are diagnosed every year. Dyslexia does not affect intelligence, so those students who are considered gifted and those with above average intelligence can also be dyslexic. There is a higher incidence of this disorder among those with other learning disabilities such as ADHD. It is a chronic condition, but it can improve with specialized therapies and targeted tutoring. As many as 17% of US school children may have dyslexia, and as many as 85% of students with learning disabilities either have dyslexia alone or with other conditions. It is slightly more common in boys. Once a teacher suspects that a student may have this disorder, the next step is to have a parental conference and consult with the school's child study team. Here in the state of New Jersey, the dyslexia screening law, which was passed in April of 2014, states that if a child shows symptoms of dyslexia or other reading disabilities, they must be screened by the end of the first semester of second grade. While there is no one single test used to determine if a child has dyslexia, the Dibbles test is one of the more widely used for testing for dyslexia, and it includes the nonsense word fluency section, which is important for testing students' decoding skills. And here you can see an example of that section. A dyslexia diagnosis is not a guarantee of any special services or accommodations, but those students who are diagnosed often get an IEP, which is an individualized education plan. And the IEP usually includes the following accommodations in the classroom. The use of audiobooks, text readers, and text-to-speech software that can help strengthen reading skills. Teachers can give more oral assignments rather than written. Rather than having students copy notes from the board, either having another student do that for them or sending a prepared copy home. When it comes to testing, giving additional time for test taking, allowing more multiple choice options instead of filling in the blank or open-ended essay questions, incorporating more oral presentations and assignments rather than written. Of course, never making participation in competitions like spelling bees mandatory, because that can have a negative impact on the child's self-esteem. And naturally, positive reinforcement and always making positive comments about work before delving into any errors. Like I said, it's important that other students in the classroom try to help their peer by, like I said, either taking notes or being responsible for the written portion of the assignment and having the dyslexic child take care of the oral part of the assignment. Work can be divided that way. This is what it's like to read with dyslexia. As you can see, there are a lot of jumbled letters, spacing either spaced out too much or pushed together. Reading like this can have physical consequences. I mean, some people get headaches and stomach problems as they're trying to decipher this text. Imagine trying to read an entire chapter or a book like this. It's very difficult. Because this is generally a hereditary condition, there is usually another member of the family who experienced the same struggles with reading that the dyslexic child experiences. So at home, it's important to also offer positive reinforcement, reading regularly with the child, making yourself available for homework assistance, also encouraging non-academic activities such as sports or artistic pursuits, are another way to give the child an opportunity to excel. Support groups like Decoding Dyslexia are also a good idea. You can join, they can give more information to families, help them navigate the school system, and advocate for their child. After high school, those dyslexic students who wish to go on to college are offered accommodations as well and transitional services. They are given accommodations for taking college entrance exams like the SATs or the ACTs. They are also offered services on campus, such as individual tutoring, smaller classrooms, and having any foreign language requirements waived just because of the general difficulty that these students experience. For those who wish to enter the workforce, they are given accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act, such as, and then they're very similar to the accommodations in the classroom, having text-to-speech software, uh, allowing employees to more time to complete work, using voice output software, things like that, depending, of course, on the work itself. But there are accommodations available for those who wish to enter the workforce. Some of the careers that dyslexic students excel in are in the STEM fields: science, technology, engineering, math, visual arts, athletics. Many people with dyslexia are considered right-brained, so they're often gifted in creative thinking, artistic, musical skills. As a matter of fact, so many astrophysicists were found to be dyslexic that a study in 2012 conducted by the Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics found that those with dyslexia are better at memorizing complex images and have strong visual spatial skills. While there is no doubt that dyslexia can be a daunting and frustrating disorder, there is hope if the child gets the necessary guidance and support needed. Elementary school teachers should be well trained to recognize the signs just because early diagnosis is so vital. Once a student receives the proper accommodations and encouragement, they can go on to pursue the brightest of futures. As you can see, Pablo Picasso, Albert Einstein, Steven Spielberg, and so many others all struggled with dyslexia and were able to go on to become some of the greatest figures in their fields. And these are my references, and thank you so much for listening.